Yo, what's good? Welcome to another edition of Rumble House Sports. You know what? I kind of want to do it like, welcome to another edition of Rumble House Sports. You know, just something.
Vince McMahon.
Rumble House
Sports.
Welcome to another edition of Rumble House Sports, baby. I'm your host, Jay.
And this is Chris.
This is Red Man.
And this is where we talk about everything pro wrestling. We talk about all things that are good in the world of pro wrestling, baby. Y'all ready for this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, let's get it.
Hey, it's been a report that Bray Wyatt was very difficult to work with and that at times he could not be found when he was supposed to perform. Me personally, I just think he was kind of done with how many times WWE was messing with him and his kind of character, even though he was behind a lot of who he became and he was a big draw. But, you know, the report was that he was hard to work with, but a lot of the WWE superstars that are on top are some of the most difficult people to work with. That's right. I mean, isn't that correct, Chris?
Yeah, absolutely. There's no excuse. You know, we've heard the stories. Like, I don't want to hear WWE ever talking about somebody being hard to work with. Like, we've heard the stories like Shawn Michaels, Randy Orton getting certain leeways when it comes to certain things. Like, I mean, there's been a handful of WWE stars that have been, if you will, locker room problems, and Vince kind of overlooks it. You know what I'm saying?
They've been a team obliterator. Is that what they've been? Team obliterator.
Yeah, team like cancers to the locker room.
Like T.O., Skip always call him team obliterator.
Team obliterator, like that's funny. But
Skip Ellis be coming up with the dope lines, bro. Yeah, I can't even cap.
I mean, Red Man might know more people than I do. Those are the first two that pretty much comes off the top. But to me, can't nobody talk about a locker room, somebody who had locker room problems or whatever the case may be, because excuse me, it happens at the end of the day. And not saying that he couldn't have had locker room problems. I'm sure maybe he did, but as long as that person is bringing this, like, at the end of the day, is Vince McMahon a billionaire? I'm sure he is. If it's bringing you this, like, what problems do we have?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. I understand. Red Man, I mean, is this really a big problem? Because like we said, we see Randy Orton. He's at the top. He's bringing the money. He's a big, huge draw. They're not going to lose him. But he has been one of the people that, we know backstage, he is difficult to work with. Do you think this is going to kind of scare other promotions from working with Bray Wyatt now that this report has came out?
No, not at all. I think Chris hit the nail on the head when he said that all the top stars, if you think about it, because, ego gets involved, you start feeling yourself, you getting all this television time, you see how much merchandise you selling, you know what I'm saying? So you start feeling yourself a little bit. So I think with that being said, I mean, I think they all become a little bit difficult to work with. And to
listen,
your point, Kurt Angle,
look no further than the plane ride from hell. I mean, come on now. Like, the person you fire out of everybody on that is who? Mr. Perfect?
Well, Razor Ramon.
The person you fired was Mr. Perfect, and who else did they fire from that plane ride?
As I said, Razor Ramon.
They fired Razor Ramon?
Scott Hall.
Scott Hall
yeah.
From the plane ride? And I'm surprised they fired him because just his history still.
Wait a minute. Look how long it took them to actually fire him. And we have to say it like this. It took him not being who he normally was in the ring till they let him go. But go ahead, Red Man.
Welcome to the WWE, where you can strip naked in front of random strangers and keep your job, but let you have a little locker room problems, you out of there. Listen, I'm
Hey
off
man,
of that.
hey, it's all about what you doing and what you have done for me lately, man. That's what it's all about. Seriously.
Go ahead, Ray, man.
Now, I was just saying that Kurt Angle is another one that also had his issues behind the scenes. That
Bro, I would
you
too
know,
with a broken freaking neck.
you know what I'm saying? And it's funny when you watch the talking about the Kurt Angle story, is that and I'm getting a little sidetracked, but all the wrestlers, whenever they see that there's an upward coming star, that it's clear that they're probably being positioned to be the next face of the company. You start to feel some type of way because you know that your time is coming up. You know what I'm saying? You know that you don't have much longer left as the face of the company. And Kurt Angle experienced that with John Cena, apparently. Kurt Angle at that point in time was at least in SmackDown anyways, was the face of SmackDown. And John Cena comes out of nowhere and he's now being positioned from jump to be the next person to take over. And Kurt Angle had an issue with that and he became a problem to deal with backstage. It happens a lot, but like Jay said, it becomes, what have you done for me lately? And if you're not producing in the ring, which I don't understand that with Bray Wyatt, because he definitely was producing in the ring. I mean,
This is no more than not having a spot at the cool kids table. If you got enough superstars that like you and enough coworkers that like you, then you good. But it starts with one person. Maybe one person had a problem with him, then another person, and maybe a superstar had a problem with him. I'm not saying it was Randy Orton, but somebody on like a Randy Orton caliber. And all it takes is that one person to have a problem with you, combined with the other few, and then you consider the problem that they got to get rid of.
I will say this, man. There's definitely we talk about all the time backstage politics because are they releasing Roman Reigns? Hell no. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Like, you know what I'm saying? There's levels to this, and that just goes to show you that as hugely over as Bray Wyatt was, as much money and merchandise sales that he was bringing in at that point in time, I think you said it right. I mean, he didn't get the seat at the table. He obviously did not have a place at the table. I think the only reason why Bray Wyatt was able to do or get the push that he got, it was because of how hugely over he became. And when you're that hugely over, I mean, even Vince McMahon can't help but not to put you, you know what I'm saying? Can't help but not to put you in front of the camera. But once Vince McMahon got tired of it, obviously, he didn't care.
And then it sucks that no compete clause is trash, bro, because that you stay out the people's eyes. And at that point, and it could work for you, but it kind of sucks, in that sense of what happened.
Bro, we talking about Rick Rude, bro.
Yeah.
That's
why they enforced that or implemented that.
You're right.
Who has done what Bray Wyatt has done for the scary sector division of the WWE when we talk about scary guys? Who has done what Bray Wyatt has done for that particular section of wrestlers? Who has done what Bray Wyatt has done? You know what I'm saying?
Nobody. His character was different.
Nobody since the Canes of the world and the Undertakers of the world.
The Boogie Man. Hold on.
The Boogie Man.
The Boogie Man give a lot of people nightmares.
and the Boogie Man. But
yeah, we scarred.
Besides, you know what I'm saying? There's those are old wrestlers. The Boogie Man came out years ago.
Yeah, he's the most recent though.
Nobody has done that in the modern era except for Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, that was wild, man. Another wild thing that happened, Jon Moxley said that he was going. Well, it was announced by Tony Khan that Jon Moxley will be entering into inpatient alcohol treatment we all know that, shouts out to Jon Moxley for being brave and taking this step. But this gives more, I hate to say it, but this gives more credibility to AEW and that product that they're building, that these demons that they are battling are spilling over into real life.
But it shows they actually care about people.
That's
the
true.
fact that they would work with him to try to get him help instead of just giving him some I don't know, some pills, some bipolar pills or what, I don't know what these wrestlers say.
Or rehabilitation recommendation centers that you can go check yourself in. And it's funny, man, because there's a history of substance abuse issues in the world of professional wrestling.
I think being a professional stuntman, that makes perfect sense.
And I think WWE has gotten a lot of flack. They've caught a lot of heat because of the way that they tend to handle these situations, which is not really handle them all that much. The way they handle these situations, is that they do just enough to say that, oh yeah, we talked about it and it's being taken care of.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they don't do enough to actually, as Chris said with AEW, to make you feel like that they actually care about the well-being of their wrestlers. You see what I'm saying? It's just like, okay, we're going to suspend you for, a couple days or a couple weeks or a month or so. Here's the rehabilitation center. Go get help or take some time off, figure out what you want to do with your life, and then come back and then we'll see. WWE doesn't care about the well-being of their wrestlers. Where's the follow-up plan? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not too sure that they check in with their wrestlers, every so often to see how they're doing. Or, is there somebody, like, do they come in every week for a session to make sure that they're still doing good and still, or if it's a rehabilitation center, do they call the center to double check and make sure that, they're showing up or, checking in on a real bit? Like, I feel like there's really no, follow-up plan to ensure that these wrestlers are actually getting the help that they're needed. I think it's, like I said, I think it's just like, okay, we're going to have to suspend you for a couple weeks, couple days, or a couple months. Take this time to sit back and reflect on yourself, and then
or they'll just have Shayna Baszler stomp on your arm.
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
That's what happens.
It doesn't. So I think this definitely shows that AEW, as you stated, definitely do care about the well-being of the wrestlers. And hats off to Jon Moxley. I mean, the courage to still get in the ring Wednesday night and wrestle, even after this news had just broke. I mean, that just shows a lot of courage and everything. But it also, I feel like, shows that, what these wrestlers are dealing with or possibly could be dealing with. You just never know what these wrestlers are going through behind the scenes. And for them to still continue to come on and wrestle and perform each and every week, I mean, it's just, it's mind-boggling, but it's amazing too at the same time.
Yeah, man, that is kind of wild, but shouts out to him for going to go get the help that he needs. And I wish that a lot more wrestlers would take his advice or kind of take his leadership in regards to that. Last but certainly not least, Jim Cornette says that Adam Cole needs to stop focusing on being kissed by delinquents, but he needs to rather focus on kicking people's ass. To that you say, Chris?
I don't know how, because I'm not an Adam Cole day one, loyal fan or whatever the case may be. So I really don't know how the perception is to the day ones of Adam Cole and the loyal fans. I just know that it was funny because I kind of see where Jim Cornette is coming from. You know what I'm saying? And Jim Cornette is just a funny person in general. So it was a hilarious post altogether. But I don't know how necessarily the professional wrestling universe is accepting Adam Cole's new role on AEW. I would have to leave that up for Christian or for Red to dive into. Actually,
I mean, to be fair, this is something that he did even in NXT. So that for one is weird that he would say that. But for number two, Jim Cornette and AEW got some kind of ties because of the Dark Side of the Ring. So for him to kind of come at Adam Cole like that, it was very weird to me. I mean, it was kind of crazy. Like, what are your thoughts on this, Redman?
I thought it was hilarious. It's funny because Jim Cornette's probably got to be the funniest person in professional wrestling, if not the most controversial, one of the most controversial people in professional wrestling. I mean, this guy, talk about not having no filter. I don't know what happened to the man, if he's always been like this, or what happened to the guy after he left WWE.
Oh, he's definitely always been like this. He's always said controversial things, and I
just want to see him and Rick Russo get into a fight. Big Russo.
But it's just Jim Cornette being Jim Cornette. You know what I'm saying? I don't really think it's much to do about nothing, honestly. Adam Cole, I think, is honestly actually doing a little bit better, in my opinion, than both of CM Punk and Bryan Danielson right now currently. And that's only being because, obviously, with him being with the Elite, and the Elite actually being involved in active storylines and different things like that. And so that kind of helps Adam Cole, because with him being a part of the Elite, he's naturally thrust into whatever storylines that the Elite are involved in. And he's been doing really good. And I feel like he's been thriving. Other than Bryan Danielson and CM Punk, who have been putting on good matches, especially Bryan Danielson. I mean, I just don't think it's possible for Bryan Danielson to not have a good match. I mean, I think it's just the same thing as CM Punk. It's just more or less getting him involved in a actual storyline or rivalry.
I mean, technically the same thing with Bryan Danielson. He ain't really having no storylines. I mean,
well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's just more or less trying to get him involved in actual storylines. But as far as his matches, I mean, his matches have been A1 since he jumped onto the show. But Adam Cole probably is having the best run of the three right now, in my opinion. And like I said, I think that's just solely because of him being a part of the Elite, and the Elite actually having active ongoing storyline. Don Callis is another hilarious person. I don't know if y'all been paying attention to Don. He's the manager for the Elite. That dude right there is funny too.
Don Callis is funny, but how many UFC stars are they gonna sign, bro? They bring on a new UFC star every week. This is all Ronda Rousey's fault, okay?
Right.
Hey, man, but thank y'all for tuning in to another edition of Rumble House Sports. It's your boy, Jay.
This is Chris.
And this your boy, Red.
And let's go!